All right, so here we are again. Hello, hello, everybody, and for the love of dragons, it is Tuesday, December 29th, 2020. We are closing out this year, and I know some of you are very grateful for that. We've had a very interesting year here, and so for those of you that don't know me, I'm Araya Anra. I come live every week in For the Love of Dragons. Some of you know me as Tana, which is my dragon name, or as the Dragon Lady. And I want to talk about some interesting energies today that are really prevalent in the last bit of time. That we actually had an activation on the 12th of December with some of my dragon hearts, and another completion piece happened, and there was Phoenix rising energy. Some of you have been seeing Phoenix in the skies for quite some time. Some of you have been having that energy come around you, and I want you to understand it because I had an epiphany this last couple days and realized what's happening here as we close out 2020 and move into a whole new cycle of energy. And many of us know that on the solstice there was a big completion. I talked about that last week, and many pieces coming into play as far as real expansion into the age of Aquarius, into our beautiful new earth and a state of harmony. And we need to understand this Phoenix piece because it's very prevalent with a lot of people right now. And having had it part of this last, the activation on the 12th of December, it really gave me a lot of clarity. So let's start with understanding how the dragons and the Phoenix are connected. So this is something that I haven't talked about too publicly. It's been part of my coursework with my dragon hearts. But to understand that when energies came in, so if you look at the book and the triangulation of energies and how energies move down to become this place in the third dimensional aspect, much of that is explained in the book, but we come down and the dragon energies came down and actually from 3D had to bifurcate again. And so to experience the full aspect of separation and duality, they also split streams. So there's been an availability of dragon energy through a feminine form and a masculine form, because as we know, they will also separate like the elementals did, coming into a masculine water dragon and a feminine water dragon, or the same with the fire dragons and the earth dragons. That in that's separated to a degree, but then there's also a separation level into a pure masculine and feminine from just a base dragon, androgynous, and that actually separated into a stream of masculine energy that came into Phoenix and a feminine energy that came into Swan. And as the different cycles over time have swung like a pendulum swinging between matriarchy and patriarchy on the planet, that those energies have been more prevalent than the other, that they have taken the spotlight because duality and separation needed to be experienced. We needed to have those pendulum swings and be in the feminine and then be in the masculine, and they got twisted or distorted to be a power hungry, or a, where the matriarchy takes power and dominates over the masculine, and then the reverse. So what we've known for a couple of years now, if you recall, in the fall, November 7th of 2018, I was in South Africa and did a big activation to awaken the female black dragon over in the continent of Africa, massive, which covers the entire continent. And her head is down with her crown chakra in South Africa. And so I did an activation there that brought her recharged, and a whole line of electrical energy coming in through her crown and down her spine, all the way to the pyramids of Giza, to where her birthing canal heads out towards the Mediterranean, then her tail wraps around. And in that experience, that was the beginning of the rise of the feminine, that she was holding the shadow body of the feminine that had been repressed and dropped down. Well, it got raised back up, and that started bringing us back into balance, of bringing us into harmony, where the masculine and feminine are back on equal footing, so to speak, with each other, that there's not dominion one over the other, and that there's not any kind of division, because we're moving into a state of unity. So what really amazed me last week is there's been a lot of this Phoenix energy, and the Phoenix energy showed up on December 12th when we did a 12-12 activation with my dragon hearts, and a really beautiful piece of Gaia's Pearl, which is her Akashic Records. And I think I talked about this right after the 12th. So I would look up on the YouTube channel or in the archives here for that Tuesday right after the 12th when I talked about it. But the Pearl having this ring of fire lit up around it, that it was essentially a portal created by 6 dragons that created a fire pit of birthing, like a birth canal, to lift her Akashic records up and out of the 3rd dimensional plane and into the next higher resonance. And as it came out, the whole fire pit, there was a new phoenix birthed out of that fire that picked up and carried her pearl off to its next resonance, I guess we could say, of where her pearl is going to sit to hold her in that 5th dimensional framework. So that phoenix energy, what finally dawned on me is we've had this beautiful rising up of the feminine and coming into balance with the feminine. And what's needed to happen is that masculine stream of energy, going back again, as I just said, we've had the masculine stream go into the phoenix, the feminine stream into the swan, and many of you might remember way back, there will be an inkling when I say priestesses of the swan, that'll hit a chord for some of you of a remembering of a time on the planet, could have been Atlantis, could have been between then and now, of a time when that feminine energy was so revered and really brought through in the energy of the swan. And that now with the masculine coming in, the masculine that we've been in contact with has been a skewed masculine. It's been a dominating masculine. It's been something that's not in balance with itself. So what is so beautiful to understand now is that if you've been seeing or feeling phoenix energy, to understand the birthing of that new masculine, both within self, within the planet, within the whole hierarchy of system, where essentially that birthing on the 12th of this new phoenix rising and lifting Gaia's pearl in was because that masculine has burned up and rebirthed itself so that it can be a divine masculine energy again and actually merge in with that swan, with that feminine, re-emerge back into the full dragon energy to rise up, release, and then actually allow us to move into our unified state and step into the whole new paradigm. So what's happening this week? Yeah, isn't that incredible? The epiphany that hit me the other day, and I went, oh my goodness, this is what the whole new Phoenix rising energy is about. It's because that masculine had to rebirth itself to stand in the light of the divine feminine in balance, because it had to let itself die. It had to let itself flash through and go into the fire pit and come out in its new, like, higher form, its rebalanced form, which is the process we're all going through. If you have a piece, you might have those pieces within yourself of your masculine actually burning up and coming into its balance as well, releasing those dominion control aspects within itself, where it's letting itself take on its new form. So pay attention to that right now, because we're in this end of the year. And I love, we got Phoenix Uno Bertnilian watching, and I love that he's new in the group. And welcome, Phoenix, great to see you. We are talking about your namesake and my son's namesake as well. My son's name is Bennu, the Bennu bird of Egypt, that is the Phoenix rising. So moving into this new energy, we are completing 2020. And I know many of you are excited about that. There's been a lot of chaos, a lot of shift, a lot of turmoil, and this is the birthing process. And what happens, we are in really that final push into the birthing, into the new. When do the contractions get the hardest for a birthing mother? When do they get the most painful? Right as that baby is crowning, right as it's ready to pop through. And so we're in that pressure cooker, right? It feels like we've been in it all year. And so we're ready to release it. And wow, we are moving into new energies starting January 1st and 2nd. So as we move into that energy, what is that? This is a time when, and it's not on a lot of astrological radars, it's not out there, because it's a combination of normal astrology tables and the sidereal ones, which are the Vedic astrologers of the galactic zodiac. So we've got the earthly zodiac and the galactic zodiac lining up with Jupiter moving into Capricorn while staying in Capricorn in the astral ones. And I admit, I'm not an astrologer. This is not my information. I'm sharing it from an incredible reader who, if you want me to turn you on to, get in touch with me, and I'll get you in touch with him. He's here in Reno. He's been doing it for 40-some years. His name is Timothy Glenn, and he combines numerology and astrology in a way that I've never had such an acute reading of my own chart and life, and really understanding it, really powerful. But he shared this with me when we had coffee. We just met, maybe a month ago, to talk about the upcoming things and just check in with each other. And so this is a time when, starting January 1st to 2nd, it's over both days, we are moving into 2.25 years, 2 years and 3 months of restructuring energy. That everything is about revamping, restructuring, getting it all aligned into that new format. Because we're now moving ourselves and the planet into an alignment of a new format with divine masculine, divine feminine, merging, moving into harmony. And so this, even though it feels like, wow, we're still stuck in it, what is going on the planet, it is moving forward. And there's so much happening behind the scenes. You just have to have trust and faith and take care of yourself, take care of your body. There are ways to mitigate any fears about what's going on. If you have any fears about any illnesses that are going around globally or supposedly going around globally, that there's a lot of misunderstandings and misconceptions around that. And that if you do your research and you take care of yourself with some very basic vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, and other methods, that you're going to be just fine. And all of this is going to resolve, that there's bigger things happening in the United States and globally, and it all is righting itself. Just wait for the ship to right itself. It will. Keep holding the faith, hold the line, and know, okay, I just have to breathe into this and understand the deeper underlying meaning of the energies. So I wanted to come out and talk about this Phoenix energy today, because as we move into this new energy this weekend of a restructuring, we've just moved from the 21st. Go back and watch last week's video if you didn't yet, of the solstice ceremony, of the alignment that we did. We had the most powerful hour-long meditation. It went a little bit more than that, just the time we were on together, but it was holding space with that for that hour with what was happening in Uluru and the magic box opening and the alignment into everybody coming together to move into this new paradigm. That it really is happening, and that as much as you might feel like, wow, what's going on in my neighborhood, my city, there's still this going on and this going on, just hold your space, hold your light, and know it is going to right itself. The ship is going to right itself, and you're going to see all of the underlying, there's going to be a lot of disclosure and exposure, that everything that's coming up to be burned and rise into its new energy, it's all coming up to the surface. So this is where the restructuring can happen as everything gets sort of vomited up. We've talked about that theme in the last couple of months. Of the whole energy of 2020 was about breathing it out, just blah. So where are we sitting now? As we breathe that out, we're now sitting in this moment, the in-breath, in that in-breath of creation, where we're sitting in the pause right before the birth happens. So just allow that to sink in. Allow yourself to feel. If there's any pieces within yourself, invite that Phoenix energy in. Invite the dragons to come in and hold specifically the masculine Phoenix energy to burn it up within you, whatever is meant to not go forward as residue within you that needs to burn and come into a new birthing of itself, so that your masculine and feminine are actually on par with each other, that there's not one lagging or sitting in a still kind of control space or manipulation space or old energy space, that you can allow that energy to just move through your body. And that's what the dragons do. They'll bring that breath for you. They'll bring that fire. They can create a fire pit around you and allow your own rising up of a new phoenix to carry your own Akashic records forward. So as we move over the new year, blessings that in 2 days' time we have this New Year's Eve, and then on the 1st to the 2nd we have a new alignment with Jupiter moving into Capricorn in both astrological zodiacs. Very exciting. So lots coming, but wanted to just come on very briefly today to talk about that Phoenix energy, to understand it more deeply, because literally I've been working with it all year. I worked with it consistently because my son is around for 12 years now, but there's an aspect that I hadn't even understood until my guides just came and literally did this to me a couple days ago, and I went, oh my goodness, the rising Phoenix was because the divine masculine that was not in alignment, that had been overshadowing, that had been in control and manipulating, he had to burn up, and he's released himself. And that happened this month. And so that opens the doorway for it for all of us. And that is beautiful and exciting. So wanted to explain and share that with you. If you have any questions about that, or that begs experiences this week where you do have questions, please email me, Araya@dragonwithin.com, or Araya@invokehealing.com, or instant message me, or post it in the comments. I get direct messages or emails faster than always getting through the comments, But if you will send those questions, then we can talk about that next week after the fact. And I know that we'll have some more to talk about next week, because there's another activation, or sort of an adventure thing happening with the Dragon Hearts this Sunday. And I know that each time that happens, that there's just more to come that needs to be shared to bring everybody else online and get you guys the information and energy that you need moving forward. And that's why I'm here every week. I want you to keep going on your journey forward, and that there's lots of tools, guided meditations, the new online courses, the book available for whatever pieces you don't have yet, and to seek those out, to go in and feel. And everything that is out there is an offering, whether it's the Dragonheart program or the book club coming up. The next one will be February 4th. So put that in your field if that's something that's calling you on a heart level to dive in, to like get some basics, or maybe you got to do it on your own. So you do the Entering the Dragon Realms online course because of your time frame commitments. But everything that's out there is for you to sit with and say, is my heart calling me to this? Is this a heart call and a pull? Because when you feel that little impulse that your guides will help put into your body, then you know, like, all right, it's time for me to do that. And they're all going to line up in a different order for everybody. And maybe you'll get one piece and not need something else. And maybe this guy will need 5 pieces. Whatever it is for you. But that's why those tools are available on the site. And that's why I come every week to answer your questions and discuss these kind of topics, or let you have a little insight into what your journey is about right now, so that moving forward you can get, the next piece over the next weeks and the next months coming ahead. But exciting times ahead. Super, super jazzed that we are crossing that, I don't want to call it a hurdle or a barrier, crossing into a new frontier here coming up. And that's always exciting to see new energies shifting forward. So wishing you guys a very happy new year. Thanks for being here with me today. I always love talking to my dragon family and seeing you guys, and thanks for the comments. And we will see you next Tuesday as we enter 2021. Woo! Big, big energy. So excited about that. And this closure of the whole year of the Divine Feminine finding herself and coming back on par. All right. Blessings, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.